Welcome to US Numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare Washington quarter dollar coins, those ordinary-looking coins that could actually be worth a fortune. From minting errors to low mintage surprises, these hidden gems might be sitting in your pocket right now. Stay tuned as we uncover the most valuable Washington quarters that every collector should know about. Top 1 today to uncover the secrets of a coin that might be sitting unnoticed in your pocket, coin jar, or old collection. Welcome back to the channel, where every ordinary-looking coin could turn out to be a life-changing discovery. In this video, we're spotlighting a coin that has recently taken the collecting world by storm, the United States of America Washington quarter from the year 1973. At first glance, this coin might look like any regular quarter. It has the familiar face of George Washington on the obverse, and the proud American eagle on the reverse. But what most people don't realize is that some of these 1973 Washington quarters are hiding a secret that could make them worth thousands of dollars. Let's take a closer look at why this particular year is so special. The 1973 Washington quarter was struck during a time when the U.S. Mint was producing coins in large numbers. Millions of these quarters were released into circulation and used in everyday transactions. But as collectors know, it's not just about how many coins were made, it's about the details, the condition, and those rare minting errors that can make all the difference. What makes the 1973 Washington quarter stand out in the world of rare coins is a combination of rarity, condition, and error potential. Most of these quarters were quickly worn down through years of use. That means finding one today in mint state or uncirculated condition is incredibly rare. Coins that have been well preserved over the decades, with clean surfaces, no scratches, and a strong, sharp strike, are the ones that catch the eyes of serious collectors, but there's more. Some 1973 quarters come with unique mint errors that can drive their value sky high. We're talking about things like double die obverse errors, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or coins mistakenly struck on the wrong metal planchet. These types of errors don't just make the coin rare, they make it one of a kind. That's what collectors dream of, owning something that no one else has. One particularly rare version of the 1973 Washington quarter was struck on a 40% silver planchet, which was no longer standard for quarters at the time. These transitional errors are almost impossible to find, and when they do surface, they generate a ton of buzz in the coin collecting community. Another highly desirable version includes quarters with doubling on the lettering or date, known as double die errors. This kind of mistake happened during the minting process when the die imprinted the image on the coin more than once, slightly off alignment. While subtle to the untrained eye, experts and seasoned collectors know just how valuable these errors can be. Imagine finding a coin like that. A simple quarter that was once tossed aside could now be the centerpiece of a serious collection, or even auctioned off for a massive return. And here's where it gets even more exciting. If you happen to own a 1973 Washington quarter in near-perfect, uncirculated condition, or one with one of these rare minting errors, you're not just holding on to a piece of American history, you're holding on to a coin that could be worth an incredible $69,000. Yes, you heard that right. $69,000 for a single quarter. So, before you overlook that old coin or spend it without a second thought, take a closer look. It just might be hiding an extraordinary story, and a serious payday. Keep checking your change, explore your collections, and who knows, your next great find could be just a quarter away. Top 2. We're focusing on a piece of American history that could turn your pocket change into pure gold. That's right, we're talking about the 1972 Washington quarter from the United States of America. At first glance, it may look like just another coin you'd find in your change jar, but don't be fooled, some of these quarters are worth far more than you can imagine. We are talking to all the coin lovers, collectors, and treasure hunters out there. Listen closely, because this coin might just be hiding in your collection right now. The Washington quarter series began in 1932, and while many people think of them as ordinary, certain years and minting errors have created rare and highly sought-after versions, and 1972 is one of them. Let's start with its design. The obverse side of the coin features a bold and dignified portrait of George Washington, facing left, with the inscriptions, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," and the date, 1972, at the bottom. On the reverse, you'll find a powerful image of the American eagle with its wings spread wide, perched on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength, readiness, and peace. But here's where it gets really interesting: the hidden value in this coin doesn't come from its face design, but from its rarity, condition, and most importantly, minting errors. Some of these 1972 quarters were struck with unusual mistakes that collectors are willing to pay thousands to own. These rare errors include double die obverse, where the lettering and date appear to have a shadow or second impression. It's a subtle detail, but once spotted, it transforms an ordinary coin into a rare and valuable treasure. Other versions have been found with off-center strikes, where the design doesn't align properly and part of the image is cut off. Then there are clipped planchets, where a small piece of the coin is missing due to a minting mishap. These kinds of flaws are not defects to collectors, they're golden opportunities. Each error tells a unique story and adds serious value. We are also looking at a time when the US Mint was transitioning materials and processes. On very rare occasions, a 1972 quarter may have been accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal blank, resulting in a transitional error. These coins are incredibly scarce and highly valuable, and condition? That's key. Most of the 1972 quarters out there have been worn down from decades of circulation. But if you're lucky enough to have one in mint state condition, that means sharp edges, full details, no scratches, and a bright original shine, then you're in possession of something truly special. These well-preserved coins fetch a premium in the coin market, especially when combined with a rare error. We are telling you this because you might have one of these coins sitting right under your nose, in a forgotten coin jar, an old wallet, or passed down from a relative. The 1972 Washington quarter is a reminder that real value can be hidden in plain sight, and a little knowledge can turn a 25-cent coin into a life-changing discovery. And now, here's what you've been waiting for. If you have a 1972 Washington quarter in exceptional, uncirculated condition, or better yet, one with a rare minting error, it could be worth a jaw-dropping $75,000. Yes, that's right, $75,000 for one single quarter. We are sharing this with you so you can start looking more closely at the coins you come across. Every collector started somewhere, and your journey might begin with one lucky find. So check your change, explore those old drawers, and always be on the lookout, because you never know when your next coin could be worth a fortune. Top 3. We're shining the spotlight on a coin that might be hiding in plain sight: the 1971 Washington quarter from the United States of America. Don't be too quick to spend that old quarter you found in your drawer, because if it's the right one, it could be worth a small fortune. And yes, we mean that literally. We are inviting all coin lovers, collectors, and curious minds to pay close attention, because what may look like an ordinary 25-cent coin could actually be one of the most sought-after collectibles in American coinage. Let's take a journey back to 1971. It was a year full of change, in politics, culture, and even in the world of money. The U.S. Mint was hard at work producing coins for everyday use, including the Washington quarter, which had already been in circulation since 1932. Millions of these quarters were struck, used in transactions, and passed from hand to hand. But here's the twist: not all 1971 quarters were created equal. While most of these coins look the same, a rare few carry minting mistakes, unique flaws, and surprising details that make them incredibly valuable today. Let's explore exactly what makes a 1971 Washington quarter a hidden treasure. The obverse of the coin features the classic profile of George Washington, firm, bold, and symbolic of American strength. The words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" stand proudly beside him, and the year 1971 rests just below. The reverse carries the proud eagle, wings spread, holding arrows of strength and an olive branch for peace. But it's not just about the design, it's the hidden details and differences that transform this everyday coin into a collector's dream. We are talking about errors and rare variations that occurred during the minting process, small mistakes that weren't supposed to happen but slipped through anyway. These include double die obverse errors, where parts of the text or date appear twice due to a misaligned die. To the untrained eye, it may look like a blur or shadow, but to collectors, it's a golden ticket. Another rare type is the off-center strike, where the image or date is slightly shifted, leaving part of the design missing or oddly placed. These mistakes make each affected coin one of a kind. Then there are clipped planchet errors, where a small piece of the coin is missing entirely due to a cutting issue during production. These flawed coins are extremely popular with collectors, and their value can skyrocket based on how rare or dramatic the error is. And let's not forget about transitional errors, coins that were accidentally struck using the wrong metal composition. By 1971, silver was no longer used in quarters for regular circulation, but a few coins may have been minted on leftover silver planchets by mistake. These extremely rare finds are highly prized and can fetch huge prices at auction. Now, one of the most important things to know is that condition matters. Most 1971 quarters were used for decades, worn, scratched, and dulled over time. But if you happen to find one that's in uncirculated or mint state condition, with full details, no wear, and a strong luster, then its value instantly jumps. Combine pristine condition with a rare error, and you're looking at a serious collector's item. We are sharing all of this so that every coin enthusiast and beginner collector knows exactly what to look for. You don't need to be a professional numismatist to find treasure, just a curious eye and a bit of knowledge can go a long way. The 1971 Washington quarter proves that something as simple as pocket change can hold incredible value. Now, for the part you've all been waiting for, the value. If you have a 1971 Washington quarter in flawless, uncirculated condition, especially one with a rare error like a double die or transitional metal, it could be worth an astonishing $81,000. Yes. Top 4. We are talking directly to all the passionate collectors, curious beginners, and everyday coin lovers out there, because what you're about to learn might just lead you to a coin in your possession that's worth far more than 25 cents. Let's begin with the history. The year 1967 was a pivotal one in U.S. coinage. Just 2 years earlier, in 1965, the United States Mint stopped producing silver quarters for circulation. By 1967, the transition to a copper-nickel clad composition was fully in effect. As a result, all quarters from 1967 were struck without mint marks, part of a broader move by the U.S. Mint to discourage coin hoarding during this time of change. But here's where it gets fascinating. Although these quarters were mass-produced and widely circulated, some incredibly rare versions of the 1967 Washington quarter have surfaced, versions that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for. What makes these coins so special? The answer lies in minting errors, rare conditions, and historical uniqueness. While millions of 1967 quarters were produced, a small number were struck with major errors that slipped past quality control and found their way into circulation. These error coins are now some of the most valuable among modern U.S. quarters. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die obverse, where certain details like the date, the word Liberty, or In God We Trust, appear slightly duplicated due to a misalignment during the minting process. These doubling effects are often subtle but become extremely valuable once authenticated by experts. Another rare and exciting error is the off-center strike, where the design is misaligned, leaving part of the image or lettering missing or shifted. The more off-center the strike, without cutting off the date, the more desirable and valuable the coin becomes. We are also looking at coins with clipped planchets, where a section of the coin is missing because of a mistake when the blank was cut before minting. These are visibly obvious and are highly collectible due to their uniqueness, and perhaps the rarest of all are the 1967 quarters mistakenly struck on silver planchets left over from previous years. Though silver was phased out from quarters in 1965, it's believed that a few blanks remained in the system and were accidentally used in 1967. These are called transitional errors, and they are worth a fortune to collectors. Let's talk about condition. The vast majority of 1,967 quarters in circulation today are heavily worn, scratched, and discolored. But if you find one that has been preserved in mint state or uncirculated condition, with its sharp edges, full details, and original luster, you are holding something extremely rare. Coins like this are often found in old collections, coin rolls, or tucked away in forgotten boxes passed down through generations. We are telling you this because you could be one lucky discovery away from owning a valuable piece of American history. And the best part? You don't need to be a seasoned coin expert to spot one of these rare errors. you just need a sharp eye and a little bit of curiosity. Now, here comes the moment you've been waiting for. If you have a 1967 Washington quarter with one of these rare minting errors, and it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, that coin could be worth an incredible $85,000. Yes, you heard that right, $85,000 for a single quarter. So don't ignore that old change sitting around your house. Take a closer look, especially at the 1967 quarters. One small error could turn it from a simple coin into a life-changing discovery. Top 5. We are diving into a coin that changed the course of American numismatic history, the 1965 Washington quarter. At first glance, it may look like your average pocket change, something you've seen 1,000 times. But what if we told you that this specific coin could be worth far more than you ever imagined? In fact, one rare version of the 1965 quarter could fetch up to $90,000 today. We are talking to every coin enthusiast, collector, and curious treasure hunter watching this video. Listen closely and don't blink, because this coin has secrets that only a few people in the world truly know about. And if you're lucky enough to own one of these hidden gems, you might be sitting on a small fortune. Let's rewind to 1965, a year of transition in the world of US coins. Prior to this year, quarters were made of 90% silver. But due to a rising demand for silver and concerns about the precious metal supply, the US Mint made a historic change. Starting in 1965, quarters were struck on a copper-nickel-clad planchet instead of silver. This decision was monumental, and it meant that no mint marks appeared on quarters from 1965 to 1967, a move meant to discourage coin hoarding during the changeover. But here's where things get interesting: not all 1965 quarters were created equal. And that's where the mystery, rarity, and value begin to unfold. Point 1. Of the most legendary and sought-after errors is the 1965 Washington quarter struck on a silver planchet. Yes, even though the mint officially switched to copper-nickel that year, a few leftover silver blanks from 1964 may have accidentally made their way into the presses. This rare transitional error is incredibly valuable because it shouldn't exist at all, but a handful of them do. We are also talking about other error types that add major value. Double die errors are among the most popular and collectible. These happen when the coin's design is accidentally stamped twice with a slight shift, causing details like the date or lettering to appear doubled. A double die 1965 quarter is a serious find and a true collector's item. Another fascinating error to look for is the off-center strike, where the coin design is not properly centered, leaving part of it missing or misaligned. These are visually striking and considered highly desirable in the coin community. Then there's the clipped planchet error, which occurs when part of the blank metal disc is accidentally clipped before being stamped. The result is a coin with a curved or jagged missing section. It's a mistake, yes, but for collectors, it's pure treasure. Now let's talk about condition, because it's not just the error that makes a coin valuable, but also how well it's been preserved. Coins that are in mint state or uncirculated condition, with sharp edges, strong details, and full luster, are always worth more. Combine a rare minting error with exceptional condition, and the value can skyrocket beyond belief. We are emphasizing this because many people unknowingly have these rare coins sitting in drawers, coin jars, or old boxes handed down from relatives. All it takes is a little curiosity and careful observation to spot the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. The 1965 Washington quarter is a perfect example of how a transitional year in coin production can lead to major opportunities for collectors. It's a piece of history, a mystery, and potentially a life-changing discovery, all in one. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. If you happen to own a 1965 Washington quarter that was struck on a silver planchet, and it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, you could be holding a coin worth an unbelievable $90,000. That's right, $90,000 for just one quarter. We are here to remind you that coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt. So check your collections, examine your change, and always stay curious. Because that next rare coin might be closer than you think. If you enjoyed this video and want to discover more hidden treasures from the world of US coins, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification